Mind is always in a flow. Flow of thoughts in the form of a stream. Mind doesn't think in frames, a frame which comes and a frame which goes. It's always in a stream. If you ever see a river, it doesn't take a break. Although there is a break, but our naked eyes cannot see the break which is happening in that flow. Similarly, our mind is in a flux of thoughts and the mind is in a great rush, a constant rush of thoughts happening. Thoughts about people, thoughts about events, thoughts about past, thoughts about the speculative future, the imaginations which we have, thoughts about the desires which we wish to fulfill, and the thoughts about the desires which remain unfulfilled, our visions, our aspirations. Mind is always busy and busy in that, and in a way it uses its all energy in this wasteful pursuit of thinking, because in the thinking you don't gain anything at all. Now this will be very interesting, because normally we are told that when we think, great things happen. When we think, then great thoughts appear, and from these thoughts great inventions can happen. But the truth is this: whenever any great invention by any scientist has happened, it never happened because he was thinking on one particular subject. As it is said about Einstein, he was remarkably capable of carrying one single thought in continuity for weeks. Now this is something of a great caliber which any normal human being cannot, because your thoughts are just like, I would put it like this, hundreds, thousands of frogs are jumping. Can you ever pinpoint at which place the frog had jumped 1 instant ago, or where the frog will jump in the another spot in another instant? Thousands and thousands of jumps being taken randomly by the frogs. We cannot pinpoint. So our thoughts are just like that, jumps of the frog. But it was possible by Einstein to have only one thought, one frog, and jumping at one spot only. This is what makes a person a scientist. This is which makes a person a thinker. And this is which makes a person a writer also. When you are able to stick with one thought and keep on thinking and rethinking on one thing. But if Einstein would be alive today, and if you would have asked him the question about the great inventions which he made, that did it happen to him when he was thinking? The answer will be a definitely no. All great inventions by the great people, be it a thinker or a writer or a scientist, happened only then when these jumpy races of the thoughts stilled. And in that very stillness, great inventive ideas came forward on the layer of the mind, where the mind was able to put it through also. So it is not that we get great inventive ideas when we think, but when we are thinking on one line, and the time comes when the thinking gets saturated. The mind gets tired of thinking, and then it stops, because it has its limitation. And when it stops, in that very gap, something meaningful happens. And this meaningfulness brings out the greatness of the human mind. That's the reason we need to understand the whole alchemy of meditation, because meditation gives you an opportunity, it gives you a caliber to bring your mind into that very stillness in which great inventive, creative thoughts will come out. These gaps of stillness are the most pregnant moments. Ask any writer the concept of any story. How did it happen to him? It never came up with the thinking. Suddenly something comes up. So you might be pondering on one question for months or maybe for years, and then suddenly, out of a blue, the whole idea gets its germination, and we know what we wanted to know all this time.